Welcome to Precision Sports Talk. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the channel. Today I just wanted to go over the Falcons depth chart. Well, really just the position breakdown. I'm going to start on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to start with the D-line. We added this offseason Dante Fowler Jr., outside linebacker. That'll definitely add some pass rushing help, kind of replacing Vic Beasley with him. Definitely an upgrade. Had 11.5 sacks with the Rams last year, and I definitely think he can hit double-digit sacks with the Falcons. Then move to the interior, and we have Grady Jarrett, who's our best defensive tackle and one of the best in the league. I think we get another great year out of Grady Jarrett, and I'm not worried about him at all. Next, we have Marlon Davidson, who we drafted in the second round this year. He did play defensive end at Auburn, but he's a bigger guy and will be our defensive tackle. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play guy ready to go and a day one starter. So I'm happy there. Both defensive tackles I'm really happy with. And then on defensive end, we have Tac Mckinley, who we drafted a few years ago in the first round. We just declined his fifth-year option this offseason. He's played all right when healthy, so as long as he's healthy this year, I'm hoping he can put close to double-digit sacks up as well. I think he can, and I think he will. But we're also looking for depth at the position, and one key, I know everyone's thinking Everson Griffin and players like that. I would love to have Everson Griffin, but if we're trying, balling on a budget, and we're trying to, get the best for our value, a guy, Michael Bennett, who's familiar with the system, played in Seattle under Dan Quinn, and he last year was with the Cowboys and the Patriots, still put up 6.5 sacks between both teams. He's always at 7-8 sacks, and I think he'd be a great depth guy. I know we just signed Charles Harris we traded the Dolphins, our 7th round pick, for Charles Harris. So that'll add some depth too, but for a good price, because Michael Bennett's still a free agent, I think he'd be pretty cheap, close to the veteran minimum. And I think we can bring him in, and I think that would be good depth for the defensive line. At linebacker, we got Deion Jones, and our other starter, I think, is going to be Foye Oluokun, who has been awesome on special teams for us. He played well at linebacker last year when he had to come in. He didn't play a whole lot, but he had some flashes of good play. But I worry about depth at linebacker for sure. We have Michael Walker that we drafted from Fresno State in the 4th round. He could add some depth, but right now I think he's still kind of a special teams guy. I got an inside linebacker in mind that he's a free agent, and I think we could sign. He'd be, I think, like Michael Bennett, pretty cheap, and that is Zac Brown. Last year, I think he was with the Eagles, and before that he was with the Redskins and the Bills. But he's a great inside linebacker, and he's got speed, just like Deion Jones. He actually, his combine was in 2012. He ran a 4.28 40. So he's got speed like Deion Jones, and I feel like if you put both those guys in the middle for a cheap price, veteran minimum, maybe a little bit more, I think you have a great linebacking duo that can keep up with the Rob Gronkowskis of the NFC South, And then to safety, we're bringing back, not bringing back, but coming back from injuries, Keanu Neal. I'm so happy to have him back. He's a big hitter. And then we have Demonte Kz, who's a ball hawk. He's got a bunch of interceptions. He's looking great. He's got a great eye for the ball. I'm excited for KZ to come back. He's probably going to be a depth player. Maybe he'll find some starting time. And then we have Rico Allen at free safety. He's a big hitter too. He doesn't get enough credit. He's definitely paid pretty well, but I think that's why he doesn't get enough credit, because I don't know if he is as good as his paycheck, but maybe this year he can change that and become one of the top free safeties in the league. He's got the ability, he's got the pop in his hits, and I definitely think he can go a long way for us. And then at the cornerback position, we've got Isaiah Oliver, who we had last year. He played pretty well for us. I think I think he'll play well again this year. Kendall Sheffield is backing him up. Kendall Sheffield will be backing up Isaiah Oliver as a depth player. And then obviously we drafted in the first round this year A.J. Terrell. At first I wasn't really happy with the pick. I was a little disappointed. I thought we could have traded back and taken him a little later. Then come to find out that, the Raiders were looking at him and they were just a couple picks behind us. After, thinking about it after the draft and calming down, I definitely think it was a good pickup. I think A.J. Terrell is the perfect corner for our system. And, I definitely think he'll plug and play because he's a first-round pick. But I think he'll be a difference maker for us, Everyone talks about the LSU game and Jamar Chase burning him. If you watch the film back and you watch the plays where Jamar Chase scored the touchdown, I mean, A.J. Terrell was right in position. You just can't beat a perfect throw, and that's what was delivered from Joe Burrow was perfect throws for touchdowns. And, A.J. Terrell was right there, stride for stride, just missing it with his hand, or just couldn't turn around quick enough because of a perfect throw. And, I don't give him too much discredit for that. I think he played a good game that game. He just got burned on a couple plays that were huge plays. So the stats, look a lot worse than what the plays were. It was really 2 plays where he scored touchdowns, maybe 3. But, I think if that's the worst, then we're in a good spot at corner with him. All right, over to the offensive side of the ball. Matt Ryan, top 5 quarterback in my opinion. He's from 10 years ago to now, he's got all the records. Since he's been in the league till now, he's got, better stats than Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Obviously not the Super Bowl wins or the playoff wins, but soon with good coaching, and hopefully the coaching's figured out this year, we'll be making the right play calls. We'll be running the ball. We'll have an even attack. And I definitely think that Matt Ryan will be a lot improved. I think he'll have closer to a 2018 year or 2016 year. His even years, he's always got good numbers. Here we are, 2020. So hopefully he puts up, 4,900 yards, 35 plus touchdowns, and keeps the interceptions 10 or fewer. That'd be great. Todd Gurley at running back, definitely an upgrade. He's going to make Matt Ryan better. He's going to have options out of the backfield to pass to, or just handing the ball off and setting up play action. Todd Gurley was a great pickup for us. I don't really necessarily agree with Dirk Cutter, saying we don't know what we have here. The Falcons wouldn't invest unless they had a good idea. They're probably going to give him 15 runs a game, maybe a couple passes out of the backfield. I'd say 17 to 20 touches a game. It's kind of where he was at with his last year with the Rams. Out to receiver, the best receiver in the game, Julio Jones. No problems here. Julio Jones will just do what he does, and that's ball out. Calvin Ridley was on pace for 1,000 yards last year, but he got injured. He missed the last couple games of the season. I think Calvin Ridley stays healthy. I hope he stays healthy. I think he does, and I think he reaches that 1,000-yard mark, 10-plus touchdowns. So I'm excited for Calvin Ridley. We also have Russell Gage, was our third receiver last year. I like Russell Gage. He's got a lot of upside. He played pretty well. But I'm really excited about Laquan Treadwell, the free agent from Minnesota that we signed. He was a first-round pick 4 years ago. And I think if we can get Laquan Treadwell anywhere close to what he was at Ole Miss, I think it's a steal. I think he can easily be our number 3 receiver. And if you're talking about the Laquan Treadwell of Ole Miss days, if we can get a piece of that back, you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Laquan Treadwell, and Russell Gage. That is unbelievable. Everyone talks about Mike Evans and in Tampa and, Michael Thomas in New Orleans. We have so much firepower at receiver that, if we can be consistent with the run game and set up play action, I don't think anyone can beat us. I think we'll have one of the top offenses in the league like we did under Shanahan. A lot of that also has to do with Dirk Cutter, and I'm hoping that, the play calling is good and consistent this year. And at the offensive line, Jake Matthews at left tackle. He's solid. He's been solid and consistent his whole career. He's good. Matt Hennessy at left guard. We drafted him in the 3rd round this year. I really like Matt Hennessy. I like this draft pick. He will be our center starting next year if Alex Mack does not come back or we don't re-sign him. But at left guard this year, he'll be at left guard. He'll be a solid left guard, an upgrade from what we had last year. You have Alex Mack at center, top 5 centers in the league. I think he'll do a great job. This may be his last year, so he may play with something to prove, hopefully try to get a Super Bowl. We'll see, but I think he's going to be great and consistent like he always is. And then at right guard, we have Chris Lindstrom, who we drafted in the 1st round last year, the 2019 draft. He got hurt real early in the season. I think it was even like the first game with a foot injury, and we lost him most of the season. But when he played well. So I think we'll get a great play out of him this year. They always say the linemen take a big step in their second season, or offensive linemen. So I'm hoping that's the case, and I think we'll have a solid right guard in Chris Lindstrom this year. And then our right tackle was also drafted in the 1st round last year. We traded back up into the 1st round after we selected Lindstrom. We selected Caleb McGarry out of Washington. He had some inconsistencies last year, but he played pretty well. I definitely, he's athletic, he's versatile, and I think that this year he'll take the jump, and his pass protection will improve from last year. He was good in the run game last year. Not great in pass protection, but I think after working with the coaches and, in the offseason, I think he makes the improvements and the second-year jump, and he'll be a solid right tackle for us. Tight end, Hayden Hearst. We traded for him after losing Austin Hooper to the Browns in free agency. We traded a 2nd-round pick for Hayden Hearst to Baltimore. Baltimore's a run-heavy team and a Lamar Jackson-heavy team, and Lamar Jackson isn't pass-heavy. So Hayden Hearst didn't get too many, but with the few, balls he got, he made a pretty big impact for them. He was a great tight end. He was a former 1st-round pick as well out of South Carolina. I think that with Matt Ryan as his quarterback, he becomes one of the top tight ends. It's kind of crazy to, put him in the conversation with George Kittle and Travis Kelce right now. But I think 1,000 receiving yards is a possibility for Hayden Hearst. Maybe 5-6 touchdowns. That's a great year. I think it's possible. Austin Hooper came close. And, you get some more blocking and a little bit more strength with Hayden Hearst than you did previously. So, let's see. What am I missing? That's it on the offense. I really think this team is cut out to win the Super Bowl. I think we've got the team. I'm hoping that the Buccaneers are a little overrated. I'm hoping that a lot of the Super Bowl success had to do with coaching. I think it did. It definitely had a lot to do with Tom Brady. But I'm just hoping that we can slow down their attack and we can beat their defense, with our great offense. I think we'll have a better defense than the Buccaneers. And I want to have a better defense than the Saints. I think if everybody plays up to their potential and everyone's healthy, I think we're one of the top defenses. The way we played in the 2016 playoffs all the way up until the second half of the Super Bowl was lights out, and the camaraderie was there. So I think we can get back there. I hope we can. Guys, if you like the video, hit like. Please subscribe. If you have any topics or anything you want to talk about in an upcoming video or you want me to talk about, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to touch on them. Thanks, guys. Please subscribe.